Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Beyond the Arc podcast, the first one of the new year 2022. And last time we posted a video, it was in the middle of December, and I opened the podcast with that it was kind of a lucky. We're saying that it was kind of a lucky thing that we hadn't been put into health and safety protocols. We tempted fate because, Sully got COVID.
Sorry, guys.
We got put into the health and safety protocols.
It was peak.
But we had a pretty long Christmas break anyway. But we're back with some Beyond the Arc, and instead of just rounding up everything that's happened in like the last month, because we're definitely going to be missing some things, we're going to hit you with a bit of a tier list video, something that we hadn't done since probably the back end of last season, and we're just going to have a bit of a chat about who the current GOAT in the NBA is today. That's right, our tier list today. I've picked up the franchise player that I think is the franchise player from every single NBA team, and we're just going to be ranking them from worst to best, pretty much. But before we get into that, Sully, I know I said we're not doing any roundups or anything like that, but tell me, how happy are you that after about 900 odd days, Klay Thompson is back on a basketball court?
Dude, I am gassed. So I watched the game, the return. Oh my days, I was getting goosebumps, man. It was crazy. Like seeing Klay, he was sat there, and I was ready. And to say it was his first game in over 2 years, he had a good game. He had a good game. He didn't drop like a 30 piece or anything, but he looked like comfortable. You know, he didn't look like a guy who just come back off 2 years. He was moving the ball nice. He was laying up nicely. It was just amazing to see him back on the court, man. And it was looking dangerous. I'm not gonna lie. The big three was back. You know,
Yeah,
it's scary.
it might be scary hours. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, they did lose last night to the Grizzlies.
They did.
So
They did.
they're not invincible yet. We'll see how that goes. I'm watching Klay Thompson hopefully for the first time towards the back end of this week. They play the Bulls later this week, so we'll have more of that next week when we do a roundup. That's a big game. That
100%.
top of the conference
100%.
battle. But I say we get straight into this tier list. We just start randomly just waffling about the NBA again. I've missed it.
I
Feels
know,
like
man, me too,
it's been
honestly.
too long. But before we get into that, make sure that you like and subscribe on the YouTube video. If you want to see more tier list videos rather than weekly roundups, let us know. We entertain the people. You're in charge. If you're listening on any other podcast platform, make sure you share it out as well. Tell your friends to tell their friends.
Tell your friends.
But now, hopefully, if editing goes well, last time we did a tier list video, it was just between us. We didn't have anything else on the screen. Hopefully now you will be able to see the tier list. Hopefully. I don't know. The only downside to
at the
this,
end, we'll pray to the the computing gods and stuff.
hopefully. The only downside to this, I can't see Sully now, but we move. It's a small price we must pay for graphics on this podcast. But as you can see, we have 5 tiers. The top tier is just GOAT. The person who you could just trust to send out there with a load of stinkers and be told, win a game. And they would. Next up, we've got potential GOATs. So people who might not be there yet, maybe because they're a bit too young, maybe because they just haven't reached their peak of their powers yet. But they will potentially be in GOAT status in like 5 years' time. The third tier, the middle tier, is all-star caliber. So someone whose ceiling is really just hitting an all-star level, not really has a chance to be that main guy. Maybe that main guy on a smaller team, but not anything big. You know what I mean? The fourth tier is the third piece in a big three. So just someone who probably won't even be able to win a chip as a duo. They'll probably need to be in a big three to do so. I'm thinking someone like Kevin Love, someone who was a good player in Minnesota, but he was never going to win anything in Minnesota because he just wasn't. He wasn't as good as everybody else in the league. He moved to Cleveland. He teamed up with Kyrie and LeBron, and he won the chip.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And then the bottom tier, the stinky tier, is role player level on a bigger team. So someone who, if you stuck him on another team, you'd just be,
Yeah,
averaging about 12 points a game because you won't get the ball.
he's not the guy on that team. He's not the guy.
But so I think we just get straight into this.
Oh, 100%.
So as you can see down here, I have all of the players that we're going to be talking about, and the first one is your go, and that's LaMelo Ball, the Charlotte Hornets franchise player.
He definitely is the franchise player by a mile. You can tell if he stays loyal to the Charlotte Hornets, which they probably will do what they can to keep him around, like, get bigger players to like put around him. He will definitely be their star man because they do have the foundations. Obviously, him and Miles Bridges, especially, they work really well together.
Yeah.
So they've got the foundations as a team, as a franchise player, especially himself. He's definitely got the potential to be up there. I wouldn't put him right at the top just yet because he's still young. He's still got a lot to learn.
No.
But he has the foundations for what could be a top NBA player.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're looking at what he's been able to do against superstars so far.
Yeah.
In his not even a season, well, probably about a season and a half, yeah. And one thing that springs to mind, something that I saw the other day, was how the Hornets have faced up against the Bucks so far this year, and LaMelo's hit he's almost had triple doubles. He seems to be getting the better of Giannis. Obviously, he's not on Giannis, but his team, his leadership, I think he does have what it takes to be a GOAT. I think it's probably second tier. Like, he isn't the GOAT yet.
I would have, even though I rate him a lot, I would have put him in third because I think at the moment,
well, what we're thinking, potential GOAT is someone who will be able to carry a team to probably maybe at least the finals, perhaps even win the chip. So someone like Dirk, for example. Someone like Kawhi for the Raptors. Obviously, the Raptors still had decent players around them, but nobody on the caliber. Nobody on the caliber. Unlike these big threes at the moment, big teams. Like LeBron has had in the past.
100%.
Dwayne Wade was the level. Probably not the level. LeBron was best player, but Dwayne Wade's still about like a top 20 player.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll back that potential goal because if Charlotte do keep building their team with him in there, they could. You never know. Make playoffs.
Yeah.
Do what they do.
Yeah, you never know. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Charlotte Hornets can do in the future,
100%.
especially with LaMelo. I don't rate him as highly as you do, but he's still a very good player.
100%.
Next up is Karl Anthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, I was debating with myself a little in my head. I was like, is Anthony Edwards better at the moment than Karl Anthony Towns?
It's a good take. I'm not gonna lie.
But I think Cat's been in the league for longer, and he's still done his stuff. Saying that though, maybe it's because the West is good. Maybe it's because Cat maybe just doesn't have it in him. But the Timberwolves, they're not really a playoff team, are they?
They aren't. They have what it takes to be a playoff team, but I think this year competition has just been a lot higher than usual. A lot of teams are coming with it, like that weren't with it last year, and it's made it harder for these teams like Timberwolves and stuff who don't need to give 100% like every single game, but they still can make the playoffs. I think if we were having this conversation a few years ago, I'd be like, yeah, man, he can win a chip 100%.
I don't think so. I think I think for me at the moment, I mean, he's a 2-time All-Star, and I think that's probably where his ceiling is at the moment.
I would say that's his perfect line. Like he's an All-Star guy. He probably will make the All-Star team this year, more than likely, because he's an All-Star player. But I doubt he can get further than that. I don't see him ever winning like an MVP or anything like that, or taking the Timberwolves.
I've put him
who
in
knows? 100%. I agree.
Next up is someone else who I was like, who is the franchise player of this team, and I've gone with Pascal Siakam over Fred VanVleet
Okay.
for
I'll
the
back that.
Toronto Raptors.
I'll back that.
I'd say Freddie is having a great season.
Oh, he is. He is.
There's potential for him to perhaps sneak into the All-Star team this year. I'd say there's good potential, but I've gone with Pascal. Pascal, again, I think mainly just because he's come through a little bit before Fred. He's
Yeah.
younger, so you see a bit more in him.
I would back your choice because, to be honest, if I had both of those guys on my team, I'm looking at Pascal Siakam to win the game, kind of thing.
Yeah, me too.
And he is just like when it was the Raptors winning the league, he like with obviously you had Kawhi and Kyle Lowry, but I feel like Siakam was definitely a main piece as well.
Well, he was the most improved player that year, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he was amazing. So
Yeah,
I would back that for him being their franchise player over Freddie,
exactly,
anyways.
exactly. So where would you think that he goes? I think it's between the second and third tier.
I'm not gonna lie, I I don't see him making second
No, I was
because
thinking more of a third.
yeah, like as much as he is a good player, an amazing player, I don't see him even well. I don't see him leaving the Raptors for one. I think he's got a great relationship with the team and the fans,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
like he loves it there. So I don't see why he'd
Hmm.
want to leave. He plays good basketball there, but I also don't see them winning a chip again.
No, me neither.
Or
Unless someone else
yeah,
came
unless
in.
something happened by some miracle, who knows? But also team definitely this year. I think he will be in there. I
So
I
are
don't
we
doubt
putting
it
him?
anyways.
So third tier, we're putting him ahead of Cat.
I well on the same lines.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe ahead of him because you never know.
Okay. Well,
He's
we'll
younger,
put
so he's got a lot of time.
true. True. Next up is Ja Morant.
Ooh,
I'm genuinely. You talked to me last season, maybe All Star caliber, but this guy sleeper pick for most improved player this year, and I think a lot of people aren't giving him the respect he deserves for most improved player.
mm. Because and I see what you mean by that because as much as he was a good player last year, this year he's a great
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable. I will say the Grizzlies are a good team
Mhm.
with or without Ja, but with him,
Mhm.
they're a great team.
Mhm.
Like playoffs definitely,
Yeah. I
and
mean, they've won 10 in a row. There's potential that you could be
and
seeing them
one
as
and they
a
beat
top
the
three
Warriors
league.
last night as well.
Yeah, he got
And
that big block against the against the
that was
Lakers.
crazy. That was crazy. Oh my god. He's he just is looking like the next like generational type player that's going to be doing it for years and years and years.
A lot of people are comparing him to 2011 Derrick Rose, and I can't disagree with that.
Yeah, and the only difference is this is now Ja's third season in the NBA
Yeah,
and he's still looking very strong.
let's
Very
just hope
very strong.
that unlike Rose, you don't get injured.
Of course. I mean, with his last I think there was an injury towards the start of the season
Yeah,
or something and everyone was comparing it to Derrick Rose injury, and I was like, oh, is it gonna be? But he was fine, so I
no,
was quite happy with that because I don't like these young guys getting injured or anything.
no, me neither, man.
I want to see the progression of the NBA with
Yeah,
the young generation.
yeah. So I'm putting him next to Lamelo.
Yeah, 100%. I
Potential
agree.
go. I think he has
I
chip
I
potential.
think in the next 5 years it's gonna be like
Yeah,
them two like battling it out kind of thing. Like the
yeah,
whole LeBron, Steph, like how they did it. I
yeah.
think that's
Fair. Well, I mean, you can't discount the next person. That's Luka Doncic.
ooh.
You're talking about Ja and Lamelo as these young guys. Luka's not old.
No, not even
He's not even been in the league for that long either.
he hasn't, and he's improving a lot. But what I will say with him, as much as he loves the team he's at, he needs to get out
Yeah,
if he wants to be that guy.
the Mavs ain't it, unfortunately.
The Mavs are not. They
And
have
he
great
can't.
history.
Sorry, Gary.
No, yeah, don't worry. Yeah, they have great history, and a lot like a great fan base.
Yeah,
However, unlike Ja and Melo, who are already at teams that have promise, he isn't. And if he wants
no.
to be on their level, he needs to, branch out. Otherwise, he's going to be, in the next few years, we're going to be saying all-star level, when
Oh,
really he has
yeah.
he should be in that second tier,
I
kind of.
think he's in second tier at the
Oh,
moment
yeah,
still
100%,
because
100%.
he, with the right young role players around him, he could probably bring that team
Yeah,
to something amazing. It's just the team he's on right now.
yeah, he
I
needs
mean,
to.
he's just come back from health and safety protocols, and they ended the Bulls' the 9-game winning streak with Doncic orchestrating the team. So with him in the team, the Mavs are dangerous. Just
Yeah,
I think a
100%.
combination of the West being good and Porzingis not being a proper second
Yeah.
guy.
So, for a big number two, Porzingis isn't it.
Yeah.
As well as what you mentioned, the West being good. The West, like I mentioned earlier, the competition is too high, and
Mm-hmm.
these teams they either need to compete or the players need to find a new route.
Yeah.
And you can tell he has love for the team. Him and Dirk, I've seen they've got like a good relationship going, good friendship, and I'm sure he won't want to just break that just for a bit of success. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
seem like that type of person, anyways.
No.
So the team need to realize that and then do what they can to keep him there
Yeah.
and build that team so then they can make playoffs and do what they can in the playoffs and get as far as they can as a team.
Yeah, definitely. You're not wrong. But I've put him in potential GOAT second tier.
Yeah, I back that 100%.
Yeah. Next up is the Detroit Pistons, and I have gone with Cade Cunningham
Yeah,
as
I'll
their
back that.
franchise player. The number one pick of this year's draft. We made a whole segment of a video not too long ago talking about how he was stinky and how he could potentially be the worst number one draft pick
Mm,
ever. He has turned that around.
yeah, he
He's
has
made us
definitely.
he's made us eat our words. I feel like
100%.
at the moment, though, I don't know if it's probably too soon to maybe say he is at least top two tiers, maybe even the third one.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him in All Star yet. I mean, he's definitely not getting put in the All Stars this year. I don't think
No,
so, anyways.
no.
Um, like the thing is, as much as he did like make us eat our words
Hmm.
and kind of go back on what we said earlier about
Hmm.
how we didn't think he was going to be a great first pick and stuff. He is good. However, if you look at some of the like old first picks like last year, year before, he just doesn't have what those guys had. Like
No.
some of the best rookies of last year, obviously, we had Anthony Edwards, we had LaMelo. Yeah, before that we had Ja, we had Zion. Like these are guys that have the big it factor that he just
Yeah.
doesn't have.
Cade unfortunately doesn't have that. Maybe that's because he's in Detroit. Who
Oh
wants to
yeah, I
go
mean
play in
that's
Detroit?
definitely a factor. No one wants to play in Detroit. Like, oh,
I've put him
free him,
in.
man.
Yeah,
Free.
man. I've put him in the third piece in a big three at the moment. Not saying
Yeah.
that
I'd back
in the
that.
next few years he might go up. It's hard to judge based off of 2 months
First,
of.
it is. It is. Yeah, 100%. I'll back that as well.
But yeah, at the moment he is their franchise player. Maybe if he can start carrying this on, maybe he'll attract players to go to Detroit.
Oh, 100%.
Next up is Donovan Mitchell from the Utah Jazz. The Jazz are a dangerous team.
They are the regular season wonders, but I mean, he is a great player, but just for some reason, I don't know what it is about the Jazz in the playoffs. Like, I don't know what happens. I just don't understand it. Like the laws of basketball, they just erase because they would be the top seed team in the conference every single year.
Hmm.
Like last year, they did it. This year, they'll probably do it again. Let's be honest.
Hmm.
But then the playoffs, they will just get wiped.
They'd probably pass the first round, then once they get put against a decent team, it's like they don't have a playoff mode. many teams have a playoff mode.
Yeah,
It's like
you know,
Utah don't.
100%.
I still don't think that Donovan is in All-Star caliber though. I think he has argument probably back end of potential GOAT, but he came into the he's in his 5th season now, but he's still only 25.
Yeah,
He
that's
still
true.
has about 5 years at the top of his game,
Yeah, 100%.
unless he has LeBron's genes and keeps going until he's mid
Like
to late.
55.
Yeah, but he has plenty of years before he hits the peak of his powers, and Utah are just a good organization. They got
Yeah,
good
100%.
players.
I will say about Utah, they're a very well run team. Like
Yeah.
as you can see, they do well in the regular season because they look after their players, and when it comes to getting the right team around them, that's exactly what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I think just in terms of the playoff thing, maybe that's just a personal thing within the players. Like they don't have the experience to go that far. Like
Mm-hmm.
they don't have. I'm not sure, but you never know. They might turn it around this year. Who knows? But I will say Donovan Mitchell is, like you mentioned, he's a good player, and he's got like 5 or 6 years, like still as a strong player.
Yeah.
I I see him winning a chip in the next 5 6 years. No, I mean
Ooh,
I wouldn't be.
I'd say that's a hot take. I'd say
It
Utah.
might be. It might be.
They
I
just keep
mean,
it going.
if
Maybe.
they can keep it going, you never know. But I mean, first they need to shake the playoff curse that they've got.
Yeah.
They need to like. I think if he is to win a chip the next 5 6 years, it needs to start this year with them maybe getting to the quarterfinals or the semifinals of the playoffs, so then they can at least understand the distance, and then who knows, they might switch it up. But
Yeah, maybe. I'd say as much as potential GOAT is someone who could potentially do it on his own without another big player.
he needs it.
I still think he needs like a good young shooting guard, a, a a guard that shoots, not a shooting guard. He plays shooting guard, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like Mike
yeah,
Conley's
100%.
Mike Conley's good, but Mike Conley he's aging. I feel
He
like
needs someone to accommodate his game really well.
yeah,
That's around the same age as him, so they
hmm
can do it together.
yeah, definitely. But
Yeah.
I've put him in potential GOAT towards the back end of it, but I feel like he could potentially win a chip in the next 5 years, in my opinion.
It's fair to say, but I just don't see it happening.
Fair, fair. Next up is we're turning to Sacramento, a team that hasn't hit the playoffs in God knows how long. And Darren Fox, I'd say it's very unlucky player. The fact that he just ended up being with Sacramento for so long.
Honestly, like when you do watch Sacramento, if that's ever the case, you might be watching.
First of all, unlucky,
Yeah,
but second of all, carry on.
yeah. He is just he's a player that's kind of stuck in the wrong system at the moment.
hmm
He definitely deserves to be at a better team,
hmm
or at least a team that knows how to do better, because players don't necessarily like leaving teams a lot unless you're Kevin Durant. Um, and especially when you're young, you like to build a relationship with the team. That's what a lot of these guys in the NBA go to do. They go to be like the franchise player, as we're talking about, and a fan favorite.
hmm
But with some teams, they need to learn how to organize, the franchise, the players, like, the coaches, everything. And like you mentioned, he's an unlucky guy. He's a good player that's stuck in the wrong system at the moment. I don't know if they might fix it. They might not. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, because I was gonna say Sacramento. I feel like they've done all right this season so far. I mean, they are at the moment 12th in their conference, game and a half back on the playing, but I think they could potentially get that playing spot this year.
Who knows? That playing spot is currently up for grabs by a lot of teams, because
Yeah,
that back, like, end of the both conferences, like it just keeps switching, like,
yeah, it does.
and anyone can grab that playing spot
Yeah,
for
you
me.
just
Like,
have any team goes on like a 5 game losing run, and then the
yeah,
next week they've
it's
lost seven
crazy.
in a row, and
Yeah,
it's
Boston
crazy.
especially, like, I don't know
Yeah,
what they've been on this year, but they're up and down that table all over the
yeah,
place. Like,
yeah. Keeping with Darren Fox though, looking at his stats, he has decreased a lot this year. Do we still think he's All-Star caliber? He hasn't made the All-Star team before. I don't think he's going to make it this year. But last year, he was putting up career numbers.
I wouldn't be surprised. If he does. I mean, you never know. No. I don't know if I see him making it this year. You never know. At the end of the day, I mean, it is up to people's votes, so there might be just a lot of DeAndre Fox fans. Yeah, you never know. They might all of the Sacramento might just get together and be like, right, let's do this for my boy. Who knows? But
like everyone does for Derrick Rose every year.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was about to vote for Derrick Rose this year, but he's injured, so I didn't want to waste my vote. But
anyway, where are we putting him? Third or fourth?
We might have to put him fourth because third just seems too high. He's not making the All-Star team this year.
That's a bit of a shame for Darren, but yeah, I agree with you. I'm putting him at the top of the fourth tier, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Moving on to Chris Paul, CP3, point guard.
I mean, you already know where he's going.
Yeah, he has good players around him, but we've seen him give teams deep playoff runs.
Exactly what he can do, and I was gonna mention with the Suns, and we talked about it at the start, like when we were reviewing like last season and like predicting this season. I was saying, we were both saying actually, we don't think the Suns will have it in them to do it again, and it looks like they're gonna do it. Like
we made a lot of hot takes last year.
Yeah, we were really wrong at the start of the season.
I mean, I still predicted Charlotte to not finish fourth, but you know, it's each to their own. You know, don't drag me down in that one.
I mean, they're the only team giving the Warriors a real run for their money, like in terms of like keeping neck and neck. They overtook them in the conference, so Suns are now top of the conference. Yeah. I mean, it's back and forth between them right now, and it probably that I will not be surprised if that's the conference semi-final or final or something.
Nah, yeah, it has to happen.
It has to. That would be an amazing conference final. I'm not going to have Steph versus Chris Paul. I don't know who I'm going to support because I love them both, but CP needs a chip.
Yeah. Well, Chris Paul, he's gone and got.
Yeah.
You can't not put him anywhere else.
Honestly, like, it's just what a play. I think it was this morning actually. Like a highlight reel came on my timeline of the fight between the Hornets and the Lakers. And I just watched that, and I saw Rondo throw the punch at CP, and I was like, I swear, I would not in any lifetime be able to throw a punch at CP. Like, he's just, how? But I remember watching that game as well. That was crazy. But what a player, man. Honestly. Yeah. What a guy.
Well, from someone in GOAT now to Christian Wood. And look, I mean, no offense to Christian Wood, but the Rockets just ain't it. I was going to put someone like Kevin Porter or Jalen Green on there, but I genuinely don't think Jalen Green's that good.
There's mixed feelings about Jalen Green. I think he's decent, but that's it. Like, I don't think he's amazing. I don't think he's even good. I just think he's decent. He wouldn't be my first choice to, like, put in a team or anything.
Well, I was looking at Green, I was looking at Porter, I was looking at Wood, and Christian Wood does have the better stats this year, so I've picked him.
Porter Jr., I would have backed Porter Jr. as well, but
I've gone with Christian Wood, and you just look, he's played for 6 teams already in his NBA career.
Bit crazy,
and
though,
as much as he has gotten better in the last 3 seasons whilst he was playing for Detroit and Houston, I personally think it's a role player level for him.
100%.
You put him in that Lakers team or in that Brooklyn team. He's
not even making the top 5, starting 5.
No.
And I completely back that. I mean, there's some players that are good in their respective teams, and I think that's him. I don't see him making it out of, like, any of those teams, like, the Rockets, Detroit, those kind of teams. Like, there's a reason why those are the kind of teams he's bouncing around. Like, that's his respective position in the teams that are just okay.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he is just okay. You're right
Yeah.
there. You've taken the words out of my mouth. So yeah, someone in the bottom tier for the first time today. Moving on, we've got the current MVP. We got Nikola Jokic, and it's giving me a headache trying to decide where he was going. Like I was thinking of in my head of where everyone's going to be going before we
Mm.
started recording today, and Nikola Jokic, it's he's literally just I'm gonna just stick him like in the middle of GOAT and potential GOAT at the moment. I
You know what? It's a tough one because I was while you were saying it, I'm thinking, well, he already has an MVP,
yeah,
so like that kind of takes away the potential goal because he kind of beat the potential by getting the MVP, but you can't call him a goal because then you're putting him on the level of LeBron and Steph and Giannis.
exactly,
And
man.
is he on that level? I don't know. That's a bit of a head scratcher. I think that is.
You're also looking. I'm thinking of
Mm,
the Nuggets is running the bubble. You know, they got to the conference finals, and then the season
it,
afterwards they didn't do as well. It's it's really tough to try and
I
decide
think
where to
it's
put him.
going to be one that will be a lot easier to answer at the end of the season because
Yeah,
obviously it doesn't look like he's going to make MVP this year. You never know how things can turn around, but it's not looking like he's going to make MVP. On the MVP ladder, you never know if he finishes like top 3, top 5, who knows.
yeah.
But if the Nuggets make the playoffs, which probably will, um, we can see how far he goes. You never know. Like
Then
at the
again,
end of the day, it is the NBA. Anything can
yeah,
happen.
yeah,
And at the end of the season, I think that question about Jokic especially would be a lot easier to answer.
yeah,
But that is a
definitely.
real head scratcher. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, it's genuinely it's flip of the coin kind of thing. If I had a coin, I'd flip it, but I don't have a coin, so
Yeah,
we're just gonna have to go for something now. And I'm looking at the conference standings at the moment. Denver are sixth at the moment with 20 wins and 19 losses. Does a reigning MVP? If you're a reigning MVP,
is your
is your
team?
team hitting almost
Yeah.
500 ball? I personally don't think so.
Mm, that's true. Not gonna lie, that's true.
So I think this is going to be a bit of a hot take, in my opinion. You know, potential goal. We said it's for more young stars who are
Mm,
just have potential to do stuff.
yeah.
Jokic ain't young, but
He's. I mean, he's already got an MVP. Like,
yeah, I've put him in the second tier. I've put him right at the top of the second tier, but
I
I've put
will.
him in the second tier.
Yeah, like you said, he's like in the middle of both of them.
Yeah, I mean, moving swiftly on, and I think these next three picks are going to be pretty self-explanatory.
Mm.
I don't know, tier list maker. The way they randomized this thing up, they've put Giannis, LeBron, and Steph right next to each other in the next three
They knew what they was doing.
slots. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. I mean, I was again before today. I was like, KD, Steph, and LeBron are going to be top tier. There might be a few others that come there, and Giannis slipped my mind. I don't know why, but Giannis
Mm.
slipped my mind.
Well, I mean, when it comes to like all three, of course, goats in the current game,
Yeah,
LeBron, like potential goat of all time,
yeah,
like it's honestly it's crazy that we've got that many
mm-hmm.
experienced, amazing players in today's
Mm-hmm.
game. Like if you look
Crazy.
back in like the Jordan era, there wasn't there was obviously there was great players, but not on each other's level. Like for example, there was Jordan on his own level. Then you had like Reggie Miller and Karl Malone and all them guys.
Yeah,
And then obviously if you're looking before that, you had Magic and Bird. You didn't have like loads. Like we've got so many players in today's game that on a level that is just unreachable. Like you've
you know,
got
yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah. I mean, it's part and parcel to the fact that a team hasn't three-peated in so long. Like the
Yeah,
Warriors, when they were a dynasty,
100%,
didn't three-peat.
100%.
But the fact is, we got Giannis, we got LeBron, we got Steph. This is this season. Who goes where? I'm thinking Chris Paul gets bumped down to the bottom of GOAT on this.
Yeah,
No offense to
uh,
the point guard, but these three are better than him.
yeah, of
Just
course, of course.
who
Um,
goes where at the moment?
if we're being honest, you see, if we're talking individually, LeBron's putting up the numbers.
His team's just a bit whack at
Yeah,
the moment.
which is why, like, because there's the whole argument about why is LeBron not being put up in an MVP ladder because his team's not winning.
No.
But individually, he's still doing LeBron things that he's been doing for the last 17, 18 years.
Yeah,
So you have
definitely.
to put him in the top two at least.
Yeah.
Steph, of course, top two in the MVP race since it began this year.
Yeah.
So you have to put him number one. I think LeBron 2, Giannis
Fair.
3.
And then Giannis 3.
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, I'm gonna agree with that, but I'm also gonna say that I personally think that I'm not saying that Steph doesn't deserve to be in the MVP
Yeah,
running,
yeah.
but it's the fact that you're comparing him to other players, and he's got pretty much the same points per game average as LeBron at the moment,
Yeah, it
and
is.
people are saying that LeBron's having one of his worst seasons
It
so
is
far, and
crazy.
Steph is MVP conversation. I'm not saying that Steph doesn't deserve to be in the MVP conversation. I'm just saying a lot of people are saying that he's going to be like unanimous MVP again. He's running away with it. I personally don't think so. I
don't think he's running away with it either. I think, first of all, I think KD's on his tail, like,
Yeah.
massively. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if in the end KD actually gets the MVP, because between them, I don't know who's number one and number two right now. I just know them two are top two, because it changes almost every week.
Yeah,
Steph will drop
definitely.
to 2 and KD,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Between them, it's going to be one of them two. I know for a fact. I just don't know who. Like, it could literally go to the last game of the season.
Yeah,
But
you're not wrong.
that's the thing with LeBron, and it happens every year now since, like when he returned to Cleveland, he doesn't get that recognition in terms of
No.
regular season MVP. He never gets it. And right now is the only season I can kind of understand, because as much as he is doing what he's doing, dropping 30, 40 points a game, his team just are not doing enough, and it's looking bad at him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always said that I don't know if I've said it on the podcast multiple times, but I've definitely said it just in passing conversation with other people. If you're actually looking at who is the MVP of the league every single year, it's LeBron James.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
No word of a lie.
100%.
It's just the fact that if you don't give it to LeBron, if you give it to LeBron James every year, it just becomes boring.
Yeah,
you need someone. You need to recognize someone. So now the MVP is more like, it's not who is the most valuable player in the NBA. It's more who is the most valuable player that wasn't really seen as the most valuable player last year. Kind of thing, if that makes any sense.
I back it. And it's like how it used to be, like in the golden age of basketball, as they call it, like the Jordan era. Like, if it was, who's the best player every single year, Jordan would have won every single year, but it wasn't. They, like you just mentioned, it was who's the most valuable player that wasn't last year. Like, that's why there was the whole thing about Karl Malone won, and then Jordan got angry and everything.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right.
Jordan probably would have got angry just in general if he
yeah,
didn't win the
he'd have
MVP.
woken up and be like, yo, I woke up at 9:30, not 9. Oh, okay, it's deep now. Like, it's Jordan. But like, if we're talking about who's the best basketball player alive, it's LeBron James. Like, right now in the league. But the league, they don't, they know LeBron gets the most hate as not just a basketball player, but any athlete. He gets the most hate. So if they're going to give technically the most hated player in the league the MVP every single year, it's going to bite back on the NBA, and they're not going to play like that. And I don't like the way they do it, because it would be nice for LeBron to actually, get what he deserves.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't think he cares as much as other people might. Talk about Jordan.
I know he doesn't care about the MVP. I know he said it multiple times. Like, in his Cleveland days, he always wanted Kyrie to win the MVP and stuff.
But sorry. But we'll just digress with Steph at the top, because he is reigning in the MVP conversation. LeBron's second and Giannis third at the moment. Moving on to DeJounte Murray at the San Antonio Spurs. Again, weirdly enough, no one wants to play for the Spurs anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, a once amazing team with an amazing coach, like the dynasty. Like,
is he still there? I think he's. Pop is still.
Yeah, Popovich is still a great coach.
Yeah.
But like, the teams and the players are just not wanting to go there. Which, I don't know, if I'm a young player, I'd want to go to a team like the San Antonio Spurs, because simply for the coaching itself. Like, Popovich, obviously we saw what he did, with the dynasty. Like, He's a
Mm-hmm.
great coach, and
Mm-hmm.
he coached at the time a lot of young players to turn into great players.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we see now Kawhi, DeRozan, all these amazing players, and I don't know. I mean, I think maybe DeRozan was like the last straw. I think once he was out,
Just the team ain't got good. But DeJounte Murray has 18 points per game this year with 8 rebounds and 8.9 assists. So pretty much 9 assists. He's
yeah.
almost a triple double machine, and it's just flying under the radar because he plays for the Spurs.
Well,
Like, when you before I was looking at this, I genuinely had to look up who the Spurs' franchise player was because I was like, it could be Murray, but there could be someone else that I just don't know of.
honestly, like it does get like that with some teams now, because like, and I'll keep going back to this, because the competition is so high in the NBA. A lot of teams are just flying under the radar. Not
Yeah.
a lot of people are paying attention to them. Like, for example, what was the last thing you heard about the Pelicans? Not a lot, because
No.
then, like, a lot of these teams, they don't get the attention because they're not on it. And Spurs being one of those teams, especially teams that like was, if we're talking, 5-10 years ago, they were there, they were up there,
Yeah.
but now they just don't, not in a conversation, because they're
No.
not doing what these other teams are, and it
Well,
is a shame.
yeah, it is a shame. They are in rebuild mode. I think Murray can be a potential superstar, but
Mm,
if you're
yeah,
looking at this year, I think he does have all star caliber this year, but people aren't gonna recognize it because his team don't win, and
I back that.
he isn't putting up monster numbers. He's just he's
Hmm.
close to a triple double. He's averaging less than 20 a game.
Yeah, I back that. I mean, you know, you never know with the All-Stars. They like to like get as many players in there as possible, and who knows.
I mean, I want Murray in the third tier in my opinion. I
I'll
think
back
he
that.
did get
I'll back
disrespected
that.
this year.
You never
So
know. He
it's
might get in the All-Star team as well.
it's bottom of the third tier in my opinion, but it's still
Yeah,
third tier.
I'll back it. I back it.
Staying with another team towards the bottom of the West, it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander of Thunder. Thunder. Well, I mean, if it weren't for the Rockets, they'd just be the deadest team in the NBA, really, wouldn't they? Well, not in the
Yeah,
NBA, in the West at least.
yeah, 100%. I mean, the fall off of the Thunder is unreal. Um, to be fair, I don't have much to say about them. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
I mean, they've got like all the first picks in the world,
yeah,
so who knows what they can do with that? Like,
no, definitely.
mm,
But the fact is, with Gilgeous-Alexander, ever since he went to OKC, he's been very good. In his rookie year with the Clippers, he averaged 10 points.
yeah,
Obviously, it's a rookie year, but you're taking it into account the fact that this is someone who has only done it with a bad team.
yeah. I mean,
Well, obviously, his first season in OK. In fact, no, I'm waffling. The first season in OKC, he did well. It was the bubble year
yeah.
where the Chris Paul came in and did bits. So I was gonna say it's a bottom tier for him, but I think maybe it's a fourth tier for Gilgeous-Alexander.
I mean, you could put him in either, but what I would say is he's definitely not top three. 4 or 5
No,
is fine,
yeah,
but like, there's not much to say on the guy, because truthfully, I like, his game isn't well known,
no,
and
definitely
unfortunately, he's stuck in a dead team. Who knows? Like, they might turn it around. Like I've mentioned, they've got a lot of
a
first
lot of
picks,
picks. Yeah,
like a
and
lot,
they're
and
picking a lot of like under the radar picks. I'm thinking someone like Josh Giddey.
yeah,
Broke the record for the youngest player to ever record a triple double.
yeah,
Over the long period that we weren't here. I forget when exactly it was.
yeah. I remember
But
seeing that though. I remember
yeah,
seeing that.
the drafting players that are going a bit under the radar. So I think I don't think they're going to turn it. Obviously, if we're looking at this year, I'm putting him in fourth tier.
Yeah,
Next up,
I'll back that.
yeah, next up is someone who I don't think you back as much as I do. That's
Hmm.
Domantas Sabonis. I'm only saying that because you said that you'd rather have Miles Turner over him, and
Yeah,
I personally disagree. I think Domantas Sabonis has potential to be a franchise player, in my opinion.
You know what it is? I'm just not convinced yet. I mean, you never know. Like, a lot of these young guys are proving me wrong at the moment, so I won't be surprised.
I mean,
Um,
he's not putting up averages wise. You know, he's 19 points per game, 12 rebounds a game, and 4.5 assists a game. But
Not bad, to be fair. Not bad
yeah,
numbers.
he's a good passing big man. You know, I'm looking at
Yeah.
his last few games here. 5 assists, 7 assists, 6 assists, 7 assists. He's had 2 games with 10. He's had 2 triple doubles in his last 3 games against Boston and Brooklyn.
Damn, that's good numbers, to be fair.
Yeah.
And you never know. Like, I will say
I don't
that.
think at the moment. Sorry, I'm
No,
butting
go
in.
for
I
it.
don't think at the moment he's top 2. I think he is just all-star caliber at the
I
moment.
would back that All-Star caliber, especially because, like, you just mentioned, he's putting up some decent numbers, he's averaging some decent numbers.
Yeah.
And a lot of players, when they start, it takes them a while to stop, or they just build on that. And
Yeah.
I do like to be proved wrong with a lot of these
Mhm.
players, and hopefully it's the same situation with
Mhm.
Sabonis. I hope he
Mhm.
turns out to be a better player than I currently think he is.
Fair. Well, I'm gonna put him above Cat in all-star caliber, so behind Pascal, above Cat.
Yeah, I'll back that because
Yeah.
he's still young. He's got time.
Yeah. Moving on to someone who's been injured for pretty much the whole season and is gonna be injured probably until the playoffs. His
Mm.
team hasn't really. His team's gotten on pretty well without him, and that's Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
take it. I know a lot of this has been this season, based on this season, but we're gonna take it into account as if Colin Sexton has been playing this season. Where would we think he goes? Because again, Cleveland, my word, are a good team.
You know what? I will say I slept on them at the beginning. You didn't, but I did, and they are they are playing really well at the moment. Really, really well.
Yeah,
And I only think like he would just make the team better. I'm not gonna lie. Colin Sexton's a great player,
yeah,
and I think him being in there would only benefit them. Like,
yeah, definitely.
and that's the one thing they're missing right now. The one and
No,
only
I
thing.
mean losing Ricky Rubio for the rest of the season is not ideal, but the fact is they've gone and got Rondo, and they're
Yeah,
probably gonna get
big trade.
playoffs they're probably gonna get playoffs anyway. So they're gonna have Rubio and Rondo back for the Rubio back. Add that to Rondo for the playoffs. That's all
Mm.
of the experience in the guard position that you need,
That
really.
that can take them quite far in the playoffs. You never know. Especially Rondo. Obviously, he's got the experience from Miles. Like,
Yeah,
he won the chip 2 years ago. Won the chip with Boston. Like,
yeah,
great player. And like, I think Rondo's an amazing player. When
yeah.
Lakers re-signed him, I was like, really crazy about that. But
Yeah.
I think, like, when I saw the Rondo trade happen, I thought, yo, that's amazing for Cleveland because,
Hmm. They
like, they've got
basically got him
like,
for nothing as well.
yeah, like, and I just think that will just add the experience that they need to just go,
Hmm.
like, quite far in the playoffs. I mean, I don't think they'll make it past, like, if they make quarters, never know. Don't think they get past it, but for Cleveland, that's a great season
Hmm.
considering how they were last year.
Hmm. Especially given their core is very young. I can see them doing something like the Hawks did last year, personally.
I can back it as well. I can back that.
But keeping with Sexton, I think he's just an all-star caliber at the moment. Like
Yeah, 100%.
that's what the good thing about um Cleveland is that they don't have someone that stands out, in my
Yeah,
opinion, as being their best player. But
yeah, like, just that's
they
good
have
for
so
them.
many good young
Mm.
players. Kind of
Cause
like kind of
mm,
kind of like Denver, in my opinion. You know, I've always said that Denver just have a lot of solid players
yeah, I
that
mean,
can
obviously
step up.
Jokic
Yeah.
is,
But
but
Jokic
no,
has become amazing.
I agree. Because as a team, if you just have like five amazing players instead of like two or three amazing players and two role players, then
Hmm.
the the overall game of the team will just run better because
Hmm.
the player won't run through one or two people. It can run
Hmm.
through everyone. And as a team, as a young team, that's what you want because that's what's gonna get you far in playoffs and stuff because
Hmm.
that's where games are won through playing as a team, not through playing through one or two people. Like some of the best games have been won by players that aren't the normal game winners.
Just showing up.
Yeah, showing up, and that's
with the fate of the universe on the line. I want Iguodala.
exactly. And I honestly I agree. Like I think that's amazing for them. Like honestly, and I think Colin Sexton. I'm sure. How long do you think he'll be out for next season? I'm not like. Will it be the whole?
I think he's just out for the rest of the regular season. But in my
I
opinion,
mean, if
I
he's
think
back for the playoffs,
they'll do his most to get him back for the playoffs. I think
if he is back for the playoffs, then that's. I
that's big.
mean, that is big. I'll be excited to see Cleveland in the playoffs after a very long time as well.
Yeah. Next up is Bradley Beal of the Washington Wizards.
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one because, look, I mean, we've seen him not be able to do it on his own. He's had to have help. Putting that aside, though, the Wizards are a very good team this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're doing really well. To say they lost Russ as well.
Yeah. Well, I think the players that they got for Russ in the way he just rounded their team off a little bit.
I mean, Kyle Kuzma,
He's having a great
Kyle
season.
Kuzma, he's everyone thought that Washington just took like the backhand slap of that trade, and it's looking like they
Kuzma and
swear.
Caldwell Pope on their doorstep.
It's really crazy to see how that trade turned out. I mean, Russ, he's still doing his thing, but I mean, he's having some stinky games here and there, and Kyle Kuzma is doing the opposite. He's having some really good games.
Yeah, definitely. As for Bradley Beal, though, I think we've passed the point where he can be called a potential GOAT, though. I think we've lost that.
Yeah, I don't see him winning a chip.
I'm personally saying All-Star caliber.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be in the All-Star team.
Yeah. I'm going to put him top of All-Star caliber because I'd say out of everyone else we've got in there, he's the best player in.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to win a chip.
Next up, King of the Fourth is all I can say. DeMar
DeRozan.
DeMar the MVP, and I'm not going to lie, I'm putting him GOAT above Steph Curry. I'm joking. I'll take it.
I'll tell you something, though. He is...
This guy's not fair.
I think best trade of the season.
And people were saying he was the worst. Shut up, man. Bleacher Report, get out of here. Bleacher Report, sit down.
Honestly, you know what? I don't understand where that whole thing came from, because I remember seeing him getting traded to the Chicago Bulls, and I was like, that's a good trade. Like, fair enough, he wasn't amazing, the last couple of seasons, but it don't matter because he stepped into a like almost new team with a lot of young guys that were only gonna accommodate his game, and
definitely.
I mean, it's obviously worked. Like, this guy has been unreal.
Yeah, man, he's breaking records. He became the first person to hit buzzer beaters on back-to-back nights to win the game.
Oh my god! What games as well?
Because the Indiana game, I was out. It was New Year's Eve. I was out. I was looking. You saw
the second one, didn't you?
I was on my timeline. I was like, I've actually just missed us scoring a game winner. I'm actually good. And then DeMar was like, okay, hold that. I got you.
Sam, I got you. Next night. I think the second one was better as well.
Oh, that was clutch, especially given that Kyle Kuzma had hit a dagger immediately.
Yeah, I thought it was done. I thought it was game done.
Yeah, especially given that we'd done it last night. He's probably not going to do it again. They're gonna be playing good defense on him. They'll know it'll be off to him.
Corner of the court. Oh my days! It was crazy. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely.
What a player he's turned out to be. Honestly, Chicago are gonna do well in the playoffs. I hope, man. I hope.
I personally think that Brooklyn and Milwaukee are inconsistent enough that I think the Bulls might actually finish top seed. I'm usually very pessimistic when it comes to talking about the Bulls.
But I remember I put them high, and you were like, "Yo, what are you doing?"
Yeah, I was like, "Don't curses."
But I mean, they're top of the conference right now, and they're just looking so strong. Honestly, like there was the brief stint where they were missing a lot of players, and even then they weren't playing badly. But I
Now
mean,
they're back.
they're doing crazy, man. And I will not be surprised, and I mean this, if they're in the conference finals. I will not be surprised.
Oh, if we don't run into Milwaukee or Brooklyn before then, yeah, definitely.
I mean, and then you never know. An upset
We
can
do seem
happen.
to have Brooklyn's number recently as
Yeah.
well. Obviously, we haven't played a full strength Brooklyn team yet, but
But
we
that's
do
the
seem to
thing
have
with
Brooklyn's
Brooklyn.
number.
You never know if they're gonna have a full strength team or not, because it's
No.
always like that. I've only seen. I mean, there was only the one game with Kyrie and KD and Harden. Obviously, Kyrie games we're not gonna see as much. But in terms of like full strength teams, it's like KD will be there for a bit, and then he might be out, and then Harden will be there for a bit. He might be like.
Hmm.
I think the inconsistency of the
Hmm.
fitness in Brooklyn will be the the one of the strongest things that will help Chicago in the playoffs and further. Like, and then you never know. Honestly, I'm looking forward to see what Chicago are going to do in the playoffs, because they're going to do something crazy.
Yeah, definitely. As for DeMar, it's a second tier in my opinion. It's just where I'd say I
Yeah,
put him ahead of Luka behind Jokic.
yeah, I'll back that. I mean, you never know. They could win the chip this year. You never know.
You never know. You never know. It's wide open. Next up, I don't think this will take that long, but if the Orlando Magic had a franchise player, I've gone with Cole Anthony.
Oh mate, just put him at the bottom, because what is even the Magic right now? I don't know. Like, the best thing Orlando did was host the bubble.
No,
Honestly, like,
I think we just put him there and move on. I
yeah,
don't know what
straight
else
up.
I can say. He's putting up decent numbers, but otherwise, it's for the Magic. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard to be the best player in the worst team.
No. Anyway, next up is Joel Embiid. It's a close one again. Well,
It's a tough
it's not. I
one.
don't think it's a close one. I think it's the second tier. Personally, I do think he has what
Yeah,
it takes to
to win the
do
chip.
bits.
It's just
Hey, that
about.
I'm backtracking on what I said about the Bulls. I'm nervous about Milwaukee and Brooklyn. I'm more scared about Philly.
Because
I'm
it's
more
it's
scared about
Embiid,
Joel.
and you never know.
Joel owns the Bulls. Joel owns the Bulls. Every single time he plays us, he puts up mad numbers. Mainly because we don't have centers that can defend. So if we come up against any good centers, it's done. But it's like whenever we play against Philly, Joel hits like 40 points, 20 rebounds. It's crazy.
That's like his game. That's like his
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
But I mean, it's just the thing is with Philly in general as a team. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do about the Ben Simmons situation. That's the only thing, because truthfully, they can get a decent trade out of that.
I
It's just
personally don't think so.
I think they can.
I think they could if they could just realize that Ben Simmons isn't worth as much as they think Ben Simmons is worth.
I actually saw a video, and it was a really detailed like reason as to why Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving would be a perfect trade. And I can't lie, watching it, I was convinced. I was
Well,
convinced.
other than the fact that can Kyrie play for Philly all the time?
I mean, I don't know, but I think in terms of just player for player, like Brooklyn don't need goals, like like they don't need people to get points. They've got the points in the bag with KD and uh, like Harden. They don't need the points. The defense is what they need. Ben Simmons is not a bad defender. In fact, he's pretty good when it comes to
Mhm.
defending. Shooting is not his game.
No,
That's everyone knows that he's not like he does not get buckets. But Brooklyn don't need buckets. They need
no,
defense. And
yes.
Philly, on the other hand, they don't need defense. They need
They need
buckets.
buckets.
Like
They have Steph
Kyrie,
Curry
they have Seth.
as
Seth's
a
decent.
dad, and
Seth
that's kind of
is
it.
good.
That's kind of it, though, isn't it? He's
Yeah,
also not as consistent. So
yeah, he's
yeah,
very
no,
inconsistent. And obviously they've
I
got
guess
Joel, but
I still no. I don't
it
think.
would. I don't think it would ever happen.
No
I
matter
just
how
think
detailed the video can be, I don't think anyone can persuade me that that's a good trade. I don't. I'm
I
sorry, man.
personally, I think team for team, I think Philly would get like obviously Kyrie, and you
Hmm.
can't complain with that. And Brooklyn would get some good defense, and Ben Simmons in the black jersey might suit him. Who knows?
I don't think so. Anyway, moving back to Joel Embiid, it's a second tier in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
he
No,
does have
yeah.
potential to
Back
win a
that.
chip. I'm gonna put him behind Luka ahead of Ja in the
Yeah,
way that
100%.
in the way that Ja still has a lot of growing to do. I feel like Embiid, he still has a lot. He still has quite a few years left until
But
you can
he's
say
past
he's
his
in his
peak.
prime, but he's already in his peak, in my opinion.
Or like,
Moving,
yeah, well, he's
yeah,
like getting past it kind of thing.
yeah,
And obviously he's had a lot of chances already to
yeah,
get to the finals and stuff, and he's
yeah,
flopped it every single time consistently.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Moving on,
I'll back that
yeah.
1,000%.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Someone
100%.
who I personally think our opinions are going to conflict here, but I personally think that this guy's a fraud, and that is Julius Randle.
Oh man, I can't believe I like this guy.
Yeah, you praise him, but I think he's a fraud. I think he's a
He's
fraud.
not a fraud, man. He's the New York everything. He is the Knicks. I'm telling you, you take him out of the Knicks right now, they'd be bottom of the flipping conference. They'd be bottom of the league, man. He does everything for the New York Knicks, and he gets so much hate for no reason. Oh my days. I think Julius Randle, I mean, last year, most improved player. Playoffs, fair enough, he got smoked. That's fair. But if we're talking about like who does it for the Knicks every single time consistently, that's him. If you look at if you watch the Knicks games or check the box score every single time, he's always at the top. Julius Randle is the guy.
Forever. Wow. Okay. Man just laid down the law on me.
I
I don't know,
I
man.
feel
I just
very
feel like
passionately about that guy, man.
I just feel like in the big games, I think he does it for me.
I mean, I just
I'm not saying I'm just don't have any ideas about putting him in the second tier or the top tier. He's
no,
definitely just
all star tier, yeah, fair
okay.
enough.
Okay,
But I
I
mean,
can accept that.
like if we're talking about Julius Randle though, like I mean, I will say in his last game he was a bit stinky, but the guy averages almost 20 points a game. He averages 10 rebounds and almost 5 assists per game. Like when it comes to like New York, except from RJ Barrett, he is the guy, and I don't know. I have a lot of respect for Julius Randle. I think because he plays for the Knicks is one of them teams you either love him or hate him, and I think he
To
gets a
be
lot of hate.
I don't really like the Knicks.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't like
As
the
a
team. I don't like the
Chicago
fan
fan, you're not
base.
gonna like the Knicks.
I mean,
Like,
I think just as a basketball fan, like I just don't think I like the Knicks.
that's the thing. That's what I mean. That you can be a fan of just an absolute random team like the Magic, but you're either gonna hate the Knicks or love the Knicks.
Fair.
I mean, I personally really like the Knicks. I'd love to watch them play one day. I think that that would be amazing at the
Oh,
Garden.
don't
Yeah,
get me
man.
wrong. If anyone's offering me a trip to Madison Square Garden, I'll happily watch
To be
the
fair,
Knicks. But
have you seen NBA ticket price at the moment? It is
no, man, no.
crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
I bet
I
it
think
is.
the other night, I think you could have gone to a Portland game for like the equivalent of like £5,
Yeah, but
which
who
is
wants to watch
crazy.
Portland? Who wants to watch Portland these
Yeah,
days?
100. But it's like all the teams. It's not just Portland. It's crazy. It's like imagine. That's just crazy, man. I mean, I'd be at an NBA game every single night if I was there, man.
Fair, fair. Well, I've put Randall in the middle of All Star caliber.
Yeah, All Star.
And
Yeah,
we're gonna.
I voted for him in All Stars.
I know you did, yeah. Anyway, we're gonna stick with Portland, and to someone who recently we've been hearing that he might have played his last game of the season. Does this mean he's played his last game for Portland too? Who knows? But at the moment, Damian Lillard is Portland's franchise player.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I personally think I don't know if he actually has played his last game for the Trailblazers, but should it be his last game? Yes, by a mile. That should have been his last game. As a basketball fan, I hope that's his last game because that guy, and I've said this a lot and I'll say it again, he's too good for that team. That guy he deserves at least a shot at the chip. If whether he gets one or not, I don't know, but he deserves at least to have a shot.
Yeah, okay. So who? Okay. Question then: Where are you thinking that he should go?
I don't know. I mean, he's obviously not number one.
Well,
Is he
definitely not.
number two? I
I'm
don't
saying
know.
in between number 2 or number
Yeah.
3 because he
Two.
don't have potential. I'd say he don't have potential anymore. He's old. But we've put
Yeah, he's
old
kind
people
of
in there
washed.
before, like
Like
DeMar
he's.
DeRozan ain't young. I think it's either bottom of potential
But the
go.
difference is DeMar DeRozan is looking like he's gonna win a chip, and Damian
Yeah,
Lillard
he's
is
a good
looking like
leader.
he's
You know,
declining.
Dame, he's led his teams into deep playoff runs. He's come to the Warriors, and the Warriors have just
Slapped
ended
him up,
him. Yeah,
like slapped his whole life apart.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna have to. I would say also. I don't know about you, but
No,
I
that's
think
fair.
he has
I
passed
was gonna
his.
say,
Mm,
that too. I just asked you because you were giving all this. He's too good to play for the Trailblazers. I still think
he is.
that,
He.
but
He. Yeah.
I
It's.
I think it is a
That's
third
why
tier thing. I'm
I
gonna
don't
put him
say he
ahead of Brad Beal.
deserves. Yeah, I agree. I
Like,
don't think he needs the chip. Like you know how we always say CP3 needs the chip kind
yeah,
of thing. I don't
yeah,
think he needs it. I don't think he deserves it. But I think he deserves to at least have a good shot.
yeah,
At least
yeah,
one more good shot. Let's say he gets to the conference finals, he loses. That's it. Then it's done.
yeah, definitely fair. Okay. Next up is Jason Tatum.
Oh,
Have I like he's a potential goat. He's probably a potential best player in the league in my opinion.
1000%. I
Like,
absolutely agree.
okay, so I thought I rated him too highly. I thought you were gonna come
No,
at me
no,
about that.
I absolutely agree. I think he is. This year, fair enough, Boston have been inconsistent, but he himself
Tatum
as a
hasn't.
player, yeah, he has not. And I think it's just been the fact that, like, JB has been slipping, and
They
obviously,
can't hold a lead into the fourth.
yeah, and obviously they thought they got a decent trade in, damn, I'll be forgetting his name. Um,
Fournier.
no. Denver Walker. They thought they got a good trade in there, but
Yeah.
he's just not been it this year. And obviously now he's injured as well. Like Kemba has not been the guy. They've got all these like good players that haven't turned up for him because he has been turning up, and I do feel bad for the guy. But I think Boston next year will probably come with it. Come like
Well, I
try and get.
mean, yeah, it is just a case of because they hold massive leads going into the second half, and maybe even into the fourth quarter. They just can't seem to hold on to them.
Yeah,
I was watching Christmas Day game against the Bucks, and they were up by like 12 with about 3 minutes left, and then they lost.
it's
Giannis
crazy.
just went at them, and you feel sorry for Tatum because he's capable of dropping 40 like whenever he wants.
Yeah,
He's crazy like that.
honestly, and
So he's definitely a potential goat. How high up are we putting him?
I wouldn't
Because
put him
obviously
in the
in terms of
top.
chip winning this
Mm,
year,
yeah,
he's not that high. He's not that high. But in terms
but
of just how
it's
good he is,
what he can do in the next five
yeah,
something years.
yeah.
I'd put him like in the top three kind of thing.
So so what are we saying ahead of Luca?
I think he'll be better than Luca.
Fair. Okay, so I'm gonna put him ahead of Luca, not ahead of DeRozan or Jokic because they have potential to
Yeah,
be.
yeah, 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 yeah. 100%, 100%, 100%.
Kevin Durant, is a goat, really, isn't it?
I mean, yeah,
The Slim
he just
Reaper. Are
he's.
we putting him ahead of LeBron? We said Steph and KD
If we're
are the
talking
boys.
this year, if we're talking
Yeah.
this year, we might have to. But again, he's averaging almost the same. I think he's averaging 1 point less than KD. Like last time I checked, anyways, KD was averaging 29 and LeBron was averaging 28. And
Okay, so right. Okay, so KD's ahead of LeBron. Is he ahead
yeah,
of Steph?
it's
Are we
that's
saying
the
that this is
question.
his year? It's tough. I like there's arguments. I'd say you're not wrong if you choose either. In my opinion, as like
Um,
obviously I
it
don't support either teams.
I would say second, just because I do think the league is going to end up giving the MVP to Steph, mainly because, like, I think they just like a lot of people. don't like KD. You can
Yeah,
people might not like him. Everyone
yeah,
like just knows that his greatness is there and his scoring ability is unbelievable.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like at the end of the day, the league, they like to do things that would make them look good. And I just don't think they'd give the MVP to Durant. So I will put him second. But
But yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
mm,
Kawhi Leonard
I mean,
again. Obviously, he hasn't
GOAT
played
has
this
to
year.
be,
I think go. To be fair, yeah, you're probably not wrong.
because I mean we can't say potential because the guy's already got a chip and a
It's
Finals
Toronto, yeah.
MVP.
It's Toronto, yeah.
Mm.
He's he's got more than one chip. He's got plenty of chips.
You got exactly. I mean 100%.
I mean, this year, are we even looking at the Clippers in the playoffs? You know, people are saying that Paul George is going to be out for the rest of the season.
I don't
Potentially.
think they'll make it, and if they do, they won't go very far. They'll be kicked out straight away. Playing maybe, um,
I
but
think
I
yeah,
think
they're definitely a playing team. I think it all depends on when they can get Kawhi back. In my opinion.
yeah. But even then, I think the amount of time he
Yeah.
will have been out, and the lack of quality in the team, it just won't be good enough to him. I won't be surprised if he ends up like jumping ship because Kawhi is one of them. He doesn't care. He'll go team to team. He's not bothered.
Yeah, I don't think he'll jump ship. I think he'll stay at least for another season. You know, I don't think he
Maybe.
can. I don't think he can leave after just being injured all season. I don't think he can do that.
True. Then again, I don't know. I won't be. I genuinely would not be surprised simply because if he does play at the Clippers for another year, unless they make some outrageous trades, they're not getting like far. They might get playoffs next year, but that's about it. And at the end of the day, Kawhi is not he's a smart guy. He's a smart player. He knows that, and he doesn't want to waste his time really. As a
I
basketball
guess,
player,
but are we not saying that Kawhi is that good that he could potentially carry the Clippers? You know, like obviously they're not. I'm not saying the Clippers are better than the Raptors team, but
yeah.
Kawhi obviously didn't want to be at the Raptors, but he still came through, carried,
Mm.
dominated, won a chip.
The only reason
I'm not,
why,
you know,
I mean, like the
I'm not
Raptors
disagreeing
team,
with you in. Sorry, I'm not disagreeing with
not
you in
gone.
the way that like he'll be better off at another team. I think he will be better off at another team, but I think
Yeah.
the the Clippers won't not go far with him in the team. I think with him in the team, it's easy playoff lock, potential potential semi-final. He'll probably push the team he plays in the semi-final to about like 6 games. Personally, I think Kawhi's that good.
I mean, with Paul George as well, yeah, 100. I can see it happening. I
Mhm.
just, at the same time, semi-finals isn't good enough for him. Like,
No,
if he
I
does
guess.
stay, I won't be like shocked. But if he leaves, I won't be shocked either.
Yeah, fair.
Like,
Fair.
I guess whatever he decides to do at the end of the year,
Mhm.
I'll, I won't be surprised with his decision.
Fair.
Because either one makes sense. Staying, obviously, doing right by his team, considering he'd been out for a year, makes sense. Leaving also makes sense. Who knows? But in terms of tier list, I think GOAT is the only place to put him.
Yeah, I've put him ahead of Chris Paul, behind Giannis.
Ahead of CP.
Yeah, CP ain't won a chip, man.
True, true. But yeah,
Kawhi is
fair enough.
clutch.
He has,
Yeah.
yeah, Kawhi is very clear. Yeah, no, okay, fair enough.
Trey Young, penultimate player. Trey Young obviously took the Hawks to
Good.
levels last year. The Hawks this year not doing as
Not
well.
been, yeah.
Currently occupy the 12th seed in the East, so not even in the play-in. Obviously, last season they were around about this position, and then they got good.
It's a good question. I mean, Trey Young has the potential to be a very good player, a great player even.
Mm-hmm.
His shooting ability is up there, and I don't see it declining. I only see it going up. And obviously he's really young, so he's got a lot of time to improve as well.
Great passer with
He
the ball as well.
100% great playmaker. I do think he's going to be like. Obviously, I don't think there can be a player exactly like him, but I'm saying the next Steph kind of player. In terms of his game, I won't be surprised if he wins a chip in the next 10-something years.
Well, yeah, he's still 23. Like
exactly, he's very young.
Yeah, and
Potential
you know,
goat.
with the young core, he's definitely a potential goat. With the young core that the Hawks have as well, I can see him potentially having a title challenge with Atlanta.
I would say,
I think he's that good that he can make everyone around it better. Yeah.
Title definitely with Atlanta, maybe, but
this year it ain't happening from them.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. I'm not 100% sure if he's gonna stay at Atlanta for a long time. I mean, you never know. They do love him,
I think,
of course.
Look, yeah, they love him, but Trey Young's that kind of guy to jump ship to someone else in the East and then play for that team, play Atlanta in the playoffs, drop 40 and then blow a kiss to the crowd on the way out.
Yeah, you just know that's the thing. Like, I think he's a proper NBA villain. He's a proper NBA villain. Like,
yeah, he relishes in that role. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, but that's why I really like his game. Like, I think players like that just amazing. I wish there was more. Honestly, he adds a lot of entertainment. Like when he did that against the Knicks, I was like, yo, he's not allowed in New York ever.
No, definitely.
But
well, I mean, like they got him so riled up that the crowd were chanting obscenities at him, and Trey Young wasn't even playing on Christmas Day.
It's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, I don't see him winning like a league MVP, but a Finals MVP.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout. Yeah, so I'm putting him in the second tier, but I'm probably gonna put him behind Ja.
Yeah. Because I think Ja's gonna smoke him in terms of levels in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And then finally, one of my personal favorite players, Jimmy Butler. I've said is the Miami Heat's franchise player over Bam Adebayo.
Yeah,
I think
I back that.
Mainly because of just experience. I think Bam at the moment has a way higher ceiling than Jimmy does at the moment. But
yeah, no, I mean the main reason why I agree as well is because obviously when the Miami have gone through the trades in the summer, they've built the team around him.
Yeah,
and it's clear to see they built the team around him, and that for me constitutes him as a franchise player alone. If we're talking about,
it's taken the Heat around about half a season to do so, but they're finally hitting that form that people were saying that they were going to get.
That everyone thought they were going to hit from the beginning. Playoffs. What are we saying?
Oh, they're definitely getting the playoffs. I'd say it's a top 4 in the playoffs for them. I think they'll finish 4th, personally.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I backed them to finish higher in my regular season predictions at the start of the season, but the way that the season's gone, the way that Duncan Robinson has just kind of stunk up the place this season, I just feel
like we're seeing Tyler Hero. He's kind of like fallen off from when we were last bigging him up. No, fully.
Tyler Hero is still, if he doesn't win 6th Man of the Year this year, something's wrong.
You think?
He's averaging 20 points per night still.
Yeah, which is
from the bench. That's crazy.
Do you not think Caruso's a shout for 6th man as well?
I think he could be, but I just don't think. I don't think they'll give him it. I think they might give him an all defensive first team. Potentially.
That's a big shout. To be fair, that's a big.
That is a big shout, but he's kind of dropped down a little bit because he's been out for a while. But to lead in steals per game by quite a bit off the bench,
it's strong.
He's just Caruso's one of those players that he doesn't stuff the box score, but it's the stuff that he does You know, he's
It's
one of
one of
those
them.
players.
When you watch him,
that
you
hear
realize
everyone
why.
says,
Yeah, you
once you watch
realize
him,
why he's amazing when you see his game. Because not one of them. He doesn't need the numbers because
no.
it's what he's doing with the ball that counts.
But I feel when it comes to end of season awards, it is mainly numbers. It does mainly go down to numbers.
Yeah,
most of all.
100%.
I feel like Kobe
100%.
White has a better chance of being sixth man of the year than Caruso does. If we're
Then
talking
again,
about
Tyler
the Bulls
Hero,
bench
Ty-
players.
Ty- Tyler Hero, I mean, he's a great sixth man as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and yeah, I think he should win sixth man of the year. And
Most improved
I
player.
think no.
You
In
don't
my
think so?
opinion, I think it will go to. I know this is nothing to do with like the Heat or anything,
Yeah.
but in my opinion, I think it will go to Miles Bridges, but I think it should go
good
to Ja
shot.
Morant.
Yeah, it won't though because the NBA doesn't think like that. They don't think like us.
No, not really. No.
If we
Yeah,
ran the NBA.
Adam Silver, man, hook us up.
Come on, man. We get him on a podcast. We'll let him know.
Anyway, to round to round off the tier list, Jimmy Butler, I still think is All-Star caliber.
Jimmy G. No potential.
I don't think so. No. I think
I don't know.
he is their franchise player, but I just think the players around him.
To be fair, yeah, I'll agree because I think their best chance was against the Lakers, and obviously they were never going to win the chip against the Lakers. I don't think he's winning again.
So I don't think. I think you know if we're putting Dame in All-Star caliber, I think Butler's going to be an All-Star caliber too.
Yeah, but I'd say top of the All-Star caliber though.
Yeah, I'm putting him above Dame.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I agree.
Yeah, that is the tier list. This is who we think is the GOATs of the NBA. Well, obviously, if it was up to us, these role player level players probably wouldn't be there. But we had to. We don't discriminate. We don't discriminate. We pick one from every team. Anyway, that will conclude this week's episode of Beyond the Arc. Thank you guys for just being patient with us as we came back. We've come back with a pretty long episode for you lot, so you know we've nudged you a little bit. Yeah. Like I said at the start, just leave a like. Let us know if you want any more tier list videos like this, or if you want any videos just where we talk about who we think has been like the most improved player. You know, like we did towards the end there. You know, kind of like what I did on my own at the start of 2021 when we started doing this. But otherwise, we will be still doing some more weekly reviews, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Make sure you like and subscribing, sharing it out, all that kind of stuff. Sully, you just thank you for coming back.
Of course, man. Don't worry about it, guys. Please tell your friends, man. Please, that's all I'll say. Just tell your friends, tell their friends, to tell their friends.
I think that's where we're going to leave it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.